welcome to another edition of Currently in Quincy. I'm Joe Catalano. On today's program, we learn all about this year's annual Quincy Veterans Day Parade. First, though, we'll check out the weather and the news for you this morning. Currently in Quincy, bright and breezy out there, 54 degrees right now with a busy wind. The wind is going to stick with us all day today, and temperatures really won't budge much from where they are right now. We had a peak wind gust, by the way, at 4 o'clock this morning in Quincy Center on our brand new QATV weather station of 42.5 miles per hour. And you can check it out too on Weather Underground. Just look for Quincy Access Television. Look at tonight. It's going to chill down as we welcome November into the upper 30s. Pretty dry weekend coming up tomorrow. Sunny, cool in the low 50s. About the same thing on Sunday, maybe a little bit warmer, and still pretty nice here on Monday. Again, sunny, windy, 54 in Quincy right now. In the news today, Governor Baker is using Quincy as an example to promote his efforts to increase the production of new housing across the state. During an announcement at City Hall back on Monday, Baker said the lack of housing is keeping the state's economy from expanding.
You know, when Amazon, which has a big footprint in Massachusetts, and I fully expect will continue to grow here because this is a great state for a company like that to be in, when they were looking at Massachusetts as a possible location for their second headquarters, they made very clear to us that the single biggest challenge we faced in competing for that headquarters was the cost of housing in Massachusetts. I want you to think about that for a minute. They ended up choosing New York City and the greater Washington, D.C. area. Not exactly inexpensive housing markets, but they were inexpensive relative to this one. We lead the country in education. We lead the country in energy efficiency. We lead the country in innovation. We also have the highest median house prices and the highest median rents in the U.S. Now, I like being number one in a whole bunch of categories. I don't like being number one in that one.
So Baker's bill would revamp zoning regulations and provide some incentives to encourage communities to allow for more dense housing around public transportation and in downtown areas. Quincy City Clerk Nicole Crispo is anticipating that about a third of Quincy's registered voters will cast ballots in Tuesday's municipal election.
Well, I hope to have 35%.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Yeah.
But you know, between 30 and 35%.
Fewer than 10% of voters went to the polls during the preliminary election back in September. Crispo says almost 500 absentee ballots have been cast so far, and absentee ballots may be cast at the city clerk's office right up until noontime on Monday. This year, there are races for mayor, city council seats in wards 1, 3, 5, and 6. All 3 at-large councilors are seeking re-election, along with 2 challengers, and there are 4 candidates for 3 school committee seats. Quincy police believe the same man is responsible for at least 5 armed robberies at local convenience stores over the past 3 months. The police say the thief is armed with a black handgun. He's described as a tall black male with a thin build. In each case, the suspect is wearing a mask or a hood disguising his face, and in each case, he flees on foot with some money. The robberies have been reported at the Five Corners Market, Mulaney's Convenience Store, Everest Market, Sam's Variety, and the Red Apple Food Store. Anybody with information is asked to contact Quincy Police. Opponents of a proposed natural gas compressor station in North Weymouth are staging a protest at that site today. It was supposed to be the day Enbridge Energy was to begin construction on the station. The Fore River residents against the compressor station, or FRAX, gathered at sunrise this morning. They'll be at the site all day today. Some of the protesters will also join a group of doctors at the State House later today to call on Governor Baker to stop the compressor station. The opponents say questions about soil contamination at the site are forcing a delay in the construction of the station, and that they vow to continue their protests. Norfolk County Register of Deeds Bill O'Donnell expanding his free informational computer seminars on land document research. O'Donnell recently hosted a seminar at the Registry of Deeds headquarters in Dedham to provide a tutorial on how to navigate the registry's online research page. O'Donnell says that his staff led a series of interactive teaching exercises on accessing land documents such as deeds and mortgages, homesteads, and mortgage discharges. The registry houses more than 8 million land documents dating back to 1793. Halloween was much brighter for more than 250 children across the South Shore this year, thanks to generous donations to Interfaith Social Services of Quincy. Their annual Halloween costume donation program is being called a huge success. Children of Interfaith's food pantry received costumes from dozens of volunteers who set up a tent at Interfaith last week. Milton Girl Scout Troop 76-176 assembled the goodie bags this year, and Stop and Shop donated candy, treats, plus 250 pumpkins for children to take home. Now that you are up to date with weather and news, let's check out our programming lineup for later on today here on Quincy Access Television. And we'll start with a replay of this program currently in Quincy at 5 o'clock. Then at 5:30, a new QNQ Sports Desk. And a new Into the Frying Pan tonight at 6 p.m. Barbara Isola's cooking up salmon. It's the All Friends Cabaret at 6:30 with your host, Christine Cheever. 7 o'clock tonight on Channel 8. Join us for The Call.
Hi, everybody.
Then at 8 o'clock here, messages from the candidates in next Tuesday's city election. The Quincy Democratic City Committee Candidates Forum at 9:30 this evening on Channel 8.
Next Tuesday, which is November 5th.
And at 11 o'clock, Democracy Now! Check out Channel 9 every day and learn about Quincy City Department's different committee activities. We start at 5:30 with Quincy in Focus. Update DPW at 6 o'clock, all about the fall season. 6:30, it's FYI from the Quincy Health Department. Topic tonight, thoracic outlet syndrome. A media advisory at 7 o'clock, the governor's press conference on housing choice in Quincy. Then at 7:30, we get a preview of next Tuesday's election on In the Know. The recent Captain Richard A. Stratton dedication ceremony at 8 o'clock on Channel 9.
It was family, it was church.
8:45, Quincy honors the Sons of the American Legion. And find out what's happening at your library for November at 9 o'clock.
Welcome to At Your Library.
Get a complete program schedule. Just go to our website. It's qatv.org and click on Program Schedule. Don't forget, too, we always like to ask you to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. You can see our weekly ad in the Quincy Sun, too. Coming up, we'll check out a few of the current events and activities we're showing on our electronic bulletin board on Channel 8 for your information. Please stay with us. We're back with you in just 1 minute. Welcome back. Here is a check of some of the current events and activities that we're showing on our electronic bulletin board on Channel 8 for your information. Don't forget, Quincy Farmers Market is still open on Fridays from 11:30 to 5 up at Pageant Field. The last day of the market this year will be on November 22nd. However, they're going to have a winter market this year inside the South Shore YMCA. Go to quincyfarmersmarket.com for more information. Seaside Gardeners of Squantum's annual fair for all seasons is tomorrow. It's from 10 to 2 at the Kennedy Center. You'll find crafts, books, seaside treasures, some home-baked goods, plus Pat's Cafe is open for a light lunch. Everybody's invited to stop on by. The Veterans History Project of the Library of Congress American Folk Life Center is conducting interviews of veterans from World War I right through the present. This is happening tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock right at Quincy College and Quincy Center. If you'd like to reserve a spot, call 617-817-2388. And Quincy Point Congregational Church's Pumpkin Patch Fair is tomorrow from 9 to 3 at the church. And this year's fair includes fair trade goods, plus Ellen's famous apple pies, some hand-knit items, wood toys, a silent auction, lots more. Plus, look for the Red Truck Christmas Corner tomorrow. And if you have an event or an activity you'd like to promote, visit our website at qatv.org. Download a bulletin board request form. Just fill it out and send it in. We'll put your message up here on Channel 8 too. Coming up, we check in with Quincy Graves Registration Officer George Bouchard about this year's Veterans Day activities. That's next. Welcome back. Veterans Day is a week from Monday, believe it or not. It's right on a Monday this year, November 11th. Of course, as always, Quincy Graves Registration Officer George Bouchard stopped on by to give us a little preview of what we can expect on that day and some other things happening too in the Veterans Services Department. It's busy all year round there, George, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Very busy.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm
good to
sorry
see you.
I'm a little late today. I'm usually not up at this hour. But I'm happy to be here. I really am.
Well, we're happy to have you because,
Yes.
as I mentioned, Veterans Day actually falls on a Monday this year, which is hopefully will maybe increase the participation in the events, given a kind of a Monday holiday situation.
Yes. Well, you know, when you have it on the weekends, it's kind of tough to getting the actual bands there and
Oh,
everything.
sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
So having it on a Monday we should benefit from that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit, if we can, about Veterans Day, about how it came about with its history and what it is meant to signify, basically.
As we all know, it started around World War I.
Right.
So, and just to signify, it's had a number of names to it.
Right.
But right now we're at Veterans Day, which is very nice.
Yeah.
I like the name Veterans Day, and it's been a long, it's been a long time.
Yeah. It commemorates both the active and retired veterans.
Correct,
And
yes.
those who have passed also.
Yes,
right?
well, as we all know, Memorial Day is
Right.
remember that have gone before us. Veterans Day is for all veterans.
Sure.
To honor all veterans, alive and deceased.
Yeah, this city in particular has a very long storied history of doing that.
Yes.
No question.
The
yeah.
city of Quincy is amazing when it comes to veterans. The mayor's office and the mayor never say no, and the residents of Quincy are always there for its veterans.
Yeah. Not only that, I know that other communities look to Quincy as a model for how they'd like their veterans services departments to function, and in fact, you assist them with that in some cases.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
funny you brought that up because we've had a number of phone calls throughout the year asking us how we did this, how
Yep.
we did that, because we do a lot of different things.
Yes.
And I'll explain later on some other things that we got planned. But yes, we get phone calls all the time from other VSOs out of the state asking us for our advice on how to do things.
Yeah. Veteran services offices?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Is every community required to have at least one representative?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Every city or town has a VSO, which is a Veteran Services Officer. Some are districts where they have 2 or 3 towns if
Right.
they're small towns, but everyone should have someone in the state of Massachusetts.
Yep.
Correct.
And does every city and town, George, have a Veterans Day ceremony or some
No,
kind of,
they do
don't?
not. Most of them have the ceremonies. A lot of them don't have the parades.
Yep.
Some just have breakfasts
Okay.
or lunches,
Yep.
and that's basically it.
Yeah.
When we had our guest speaker that's coming this year, I spoke with him yesterday, and he was very surprised that we had a parade.
Oh, really?
Yes, he was
Okay.
very surprised. He called me and says, "There's an actual parade, not just a ceremony." I said, "No, we are not going to stop the parades. We have a parade here in Quincy." So he was very pleased with that. That's
Yeah.
when-
It's the new, relatively new commander of the Naval Operations Center.
Yes,
there,
he's
Quincy,
been.
right?
It's Lieutenant Commander Ryan L. Sagady. He's been here since 2018, May of 2018. One of the things he did say to me on the phone yesterday was he's amazed at what the city of Quincy does for its veterans, ceremonies, dedications. He's just amazed at it. And he says the history of Quincy he never knew until he got here.
Oh, interesting.
So, yeah.
Well,
So
he's
he
a
was-
Maryland native, I think I read.
Maryland
so,
native.
Yeah.
Yes, he's been in the military now for 21 years.
Okay.
I don't know if this is his last stop or not, but
Right.
he's very pleased at what he's got over at on C Street. Yeah.
Now, what actually happens at that center anyway? Do you know the inner
It's a reserve
workings?
center.
Okay.
It's a Naval Reserve Center.
Okay.
They meet, 1 weekend a month.
Okay.
2 weeks out of the year. So it's more for training.
I see.
Yeah, over there. So yeah.
And do you know, is reservists from the general area or just the Quincy?
State of Massachusetts.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the state of Massachusetts. It's not just the Quincy. Yep.
Sure. I know that the commander just participated in the John Adams wreath laying ceremony
He did.
earlier this week.
Yep,
yeah.
and he was also at the Stratton time.
Oh, okay.
For Dick Stratton. I think it was, a week and a half ago. Yeah.
Speaking of doing things for veterans, right?
Yes,
Another
and
example of it, yeah.
he's very happy to to be our guest speaker. And he wanted to be here today, but they have a drill weekend, and
Oh.
he's the commanding officer.
Yep.
So
Priorities.
Yes, priorities for them. Yes.
I understand that,
Yes.
certainly. So let's talk about what's going to be happening on that day.
Okay, so Veterans Day is the 11th, on Monday. We will be starting the parade behind Quincy High School at Russell Park.
Okay.
Again, like we did last year. It kicks off at 10:30 in the morning, and it'll go up Russell Park onto Hancock Street towards the Marymount Park, and that's where we'll have our ceremony. Will
Okay.
take place right there. It's a little less than a mile.
At the World War II?
World War II Memorial
Memorial?
at
Okay.
Marymount Park, correct.
Okay. Now, did it not previously stop at the old Doughboy statue?
It used to stop
Yeah.
at the old that's where we used to end the parade.
At the Adams Academy?
Correct.
Yeah.
We will be stopping at the Doughboy this year
Okay.
to lay a wreath, like we did last year in the parade.
Okay.
It's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
So the mayor and Director Nicholson and the guest speaker will lay a wreath there and then move the parade forward.
Okay, for folks who don't know, that statue's been moved. It's
Been moved on to Hancock Street by the Armory, correct,
Right.
across the street from the Armory.
Yeah, it looks good there.
I
too,
think it
actually.
looks beautiful there. It looks beautiful. They just installed a new flagpole there.
Oh, did they?
Yes,
Okay.
they do. Lighted flagpole, so it looks beautiful.
Very nice.
Yes.
So, what's happening in the parade, George? Who's going to be in it? What'll be happening? Where
Well,
can
we've
folks
got-
go to watch it?
Like in years past, the older veterans, we're losing a lot of them. They can't walk or they're passing away. So we fill their slots. We do have all the units coming, the local units of VFW, American Legions. And so the ones that can't make it, we're filling in with the Navy, Marines, Army, Honor Guards to
Okay.
fill their slots. We have 4 bands coming this year
Really?
for the parade.
Okay.
That's including the Quincy High School band, who will be putting on a little presentation at the end of the parade. So if you're at the end of the parade, they're going to do a little presentation for us. And same thing with the ROTC,
Mm-hmm.
Junior ROTC. And again, with the Junior ROTC, they make our parade.
Yeah.
They have 180 kids, and it really fills our parade.
Quite a
up.
spectacle coming down the street.
It is, and they do a wonderful job over there.
Yeah.
Wonderful job.
And not only that, I mean, I know they're involved in the big events like this, but smaller events like some of the square dedications, I know they assist.
They're
with,
always there.
The Caddy Day ceremony.
Correct.
They're always
They're
there.
at all of them. And now we also have the Naval Sea Cadets, the young kids. They're back in Quincy. They moved out to Weymouth for a little while.
Oh.
Now they're back in Quincy. So they're going to be there also.
Nice.
And there's probably about 40 of them, I think.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So, and their community support with them is the same as the ROTC.
Yeah.
So.
How many do you think in total will be participating in the parade?
Oh, you got me on that one.
Even just roughly.
I'd say color guards, maybe 7 or 8.
Okay.
4 bands. We've got some vehicles. We've got the Gold Star families.
Yeah.
We've got the military National Guard,
Okay.
Norfolk County Sheriff's Department.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So there is a number of, the Reese Across America is going to have a vehicle in there
Yes.
to remind people about
Yeah, I'm
that.
gonna talk about that, yeah.
And so it's going to be a good-sized parade.
Okay.
It will be a good-sized parade. Yep.
I always have to ask about the weather, if there's contingency plans just in case.
I knew you were going to ask that question. That's why I was prepared. What did I put on my notes
Yeah.
here? So,
Tell Joe not to ask this question.
yes,
again.
yes. So if there is no parade, they can call me at the office, 617-376-1194. I will get it into the newspaper and also with you guys here. If there's any change, I haven't seen the forecast. I was watching you out there in the room to see if you had the weather
No, not
up
that-
until next Monday,
not
but
that
you
far
don't.
ahead, no.
So I'm going to take a look at the forecast over the weekend,
Okay.
extended forecast,
Yeah.
and see where we're at. We don't want to cancel it. Believe me, we do not. If there is rain and it's canceled, you'll know. We will have the ceremony at 11 o'clock. It was in the newspaper, 11 o'clock at the Quincy High School Gymnasium.
Oh, okay. I know it's had to happen a few times, unfortunately.
Yes,
but it's
yes.
not ideal.
Yes,
Yeah,
and,
you like to keep the parade in if you can.
So the ceremony will be indoors at the gymnasium if there's rain in the forecast.
Okay.
I don't want to have that happen.
Right,
though.
right.
So,
No, but just so folks know,
Yeah.
be prepared just in case.
as we talked about it before, it didn't stop World War II, the weather. So we don't want that to stop the parade this year.
So true.
It's-
And I'm sure the veterans themselves would want to be out there. A little rain is not.
Yeah, it doesn't bother them.
Exactly.
It does not bother them.
Sure. You mentioned Reads Across America. Let's talk a little bit about that and what's happening with that this year. It's it's growing.
It's
expanding.
growing.
Yeah.
The coordinator, Christine Cugini, who does a wonderful job, and you'll have her on next week, I
Yes,
believe.
yep.
She is out there hitting the pavement and trying to get the donations. We are going to decorate every veteran's grave in the city of Quincy this year. Last year was just Mount Wollaston.
Right.
It was 3,200.
Wow.
This year there's 7,300.
Wow.
So it's a lot of money to raise, and if anyone wants to do it, please get the money in. 7,300 is a lot of graves and a lot of money. We're doing 7 cemeteries at exactly 12 o'clock.
Okay.
There will be a little service at Mount Wollaston to start it off.
What day, George?
It's December 14th.
Okay.
And at 12 o'clock, the entire nation goes forward in laying the wreaths, in which we're going to do the same thing.
Okay.
So we have Mount Wollaston, Pine Hill, Sailor Cemetery, Hancock Cemetery, Christ Church, and Snug Harbor, down to Snug Harbor.
Okay.
So it's 7 big ones.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
What do you need in terms of
Volunteers.
Okay.
We absolutely need volunteers for that day. Go to any one of those cemeteries. Mount Wollaston's your biggest. I will be at Pine Hill coordinating that. You can come see me. Bring me a coffee if you'd like. It's this all 7. Somebody will be there coordinating each cemetery. So
Okay.
if you're in that area, feel free to go over
So
and
just
help out.
that day, December 14th, go right to the cemetery.
Yes.
Okay. And you'll be guided from there.
Guided from there. You'll be told, not told what to do, but
Showing.
every cemetery, somebody will be there
To coordinate it
directing
and
everything.
Make sure
Correct.
everything's. How do you make sure that every veteran's grave gets covered?
Well, it's funny you say that. We had an issue last year with Mount Wollaston, missed some of the veterans missing. We didn't have enough. And so myself and Linda Purchard, this past summer for 3 months, went to every grave in the cemetery, 46,000, went to every grave to see where the veterans were buried. And we just finished about 2 weeks ago.
Seriously?
So we have every name of every veteran in Mount Wollaston now.
Okay.
Next year we'll do Pine Hill, but that's the only way we can do it. Because there is some people that get buried there and they don't notify the cemetery
Yes.
department that they're a veteran.
Yes. Yeah.
And
For
it's-
whatever reason. Yeah.
Yeah, correct. And it was a lot of work.
I bet.
Yeah. I lost 2 pounds walking, so that wasn't too bad. But it was a lot of work. But Linda had the idea, and we went forward with it.
Yeah.
And it was great. It's just
I
satisfying.
would think the families would be so appreciative.
Yes.
To be able to be recognized like that. Yeah.
Yes, and we actually found one that she did, that there was no marker at all, no headstone, no marker. It was just a little disc stating what number grave it was.
Yep.
So she looked it up, and it turned out to be a World War II veteran
Oh.
killed in action.
Wow.
So we ordered a headstone for him through the government. It was approved. We put it in 73 years to the day that he died.
No kidding. Wow.
73 years without anything.
Wow.
And his whole family is in there, but nobody bought
Okay.
headstones or nothing. It was just an open spot.
And you have to
Amazing.
wonder how many of those that are still out there
Yeah,
have not
exactly.
been discovered yet. Yeah.
So, but it's marked now, and we're really satisfied with that.
Readsacrossamerica.org, I know, is a good place to go.
Yes.
If you'd like to make a donation.
Yes.
But as you mentioned, December 14th at noontime, go to cemeteries and put you to work.
It puts you to work, yes. And it only takes about an hour and a half at the most. So it's not an all-day thing.
Yeah.
So the more hands we have, the quicker it's going to get
Yep.
done.
Many hands make light
Absolutely.
work, sure.
And let's do it right for Quincy, please.
Always. Appreciate your time, George. Good to see you.
Okay, I'm glad to be here and by myself today.
And thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Just enough time to recap the forecast for you for the rest of the day today. Bright and brisk out there. The wind's going to stick with us all day. Temperatures in the mid-50s. Chilly tonight, upper 30s in some locations. Pretty nice first weekend of November coming up. Sunshine both days in the low to mid-50s. Still nice on Monday. Thanks again going out to George Bouchard from Quincy Veterans Services.
Thank you for having me here.
You're very welcome. Thanks to our crew, and thank you for watching. Monday at 11:30, we welcome Kim Calvey from the Friends of the Thomas Crane Public Library on another edition of Currently in Quincy. Don't forget, we fall back this weekend. We'll see you Monday. Have a great one.